like to welcome all of you to our Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission meeting. We're really glad that you're all here tonight and that we get a chance to congratulate so many of you. Agendas are on the back table, and they do have a list of the names of everyone being recognized tonight in case you would like to pick one of those up. The public participation section is at the beginning of the meeting, and if you would like to speak at that time, please fill out one of the blue cards that are in the back, the speaker cards, and put them in this tray as soon as possible so that we will know you want to speak to the commission. On public participation items, the commission will take no action tonight. If you wish to speak on an item that is on the agenda, and we do have one tonight, do the same process and put it in here before that item comes before the commission. Persons addressing the commission are given 3 minutes to speak, and comments should be complete at that time. If you have any material you'd like to provide to the commission, please give it to me as you come up to speak. Thanks again for coming, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Holliday, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Pledge of Allegiance, flag of the United States of America, and the republic for which it stands, God, indivisible.
Yeah, we're going to move on now to the approval of the minutes. Oh, certainly, it's back up. Can we have a roll call, please?
Present.
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 Commissioner Levison,
Present.
Chair Red.
Present. Now we can do the approval of the minutes. So I have a motion to approve.
Approved. So moved, rather.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Here are no objections. So ordered. And we now have the approval of the agenda tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Here are no objections. So ordered. And we're going to start tonight by doing our commission comments. Any comments from the commission tonight?
Okay. Last month was a pretty slow month for me as far as meetings and things. So, just wanted to say that I attended the skate park wake, and that was incredibly well attended by kids. Looking forward to the grand opening of the new skate park. So I'm looking forward to doing that. This Saturday is going to be an extremely busy day with the Children's Parade Saturday morning, followed right behind by Literacy and Arts Festival. So I encourage everybody to be out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have snow in the park, and right following that, at the same time as the Arts Festival, the Historical Society will have all of the buildings open at Historical Junction, as well as having Santa there and giving tours through all the buildings that are in the park. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Any further comments from the commission?
I have a few. I was at the, what do you call it, the dedication for the mural at the Activity Center. And I see the gentleman here who was responsible for that. Fact. And it was a terrific event. The mural, of course, is wonderful. And what I particularly liked about it was the fact that it was done by special needs kids and kids that were not special needed, if that's the term. I thought that was great to have them work together on a project like that. I thought it was really terrific, and the mural is wonderful, really great. So I enjoyed that. Went to the Zonta Roast for our Parks Commissioner, Twain, and that was a fun evening. And The other event that I attended was the Veterans Day ceremony, and that was just fabulous, and it's been fabulous since the beginning time we did it. Staff just amazes me with their ability to make everything run so smoothly. And this year, I loved the kids, the fact that the kids participated. That was really great. And then I was at the skate park wake with Dwayne, and it was a fun month, actually. Pretty busy for me. So I think that's it.
Okay. I also attended the roast for Dwayne. It was a very fun evening. I had a great time. I also attended the Thanksgiving dinner at the community center. That was a really, really great time. I watched the staff. Everybody was working real hard, and all the families that came in there. I was amazed that there's so many families were there. The line got around down the street, Adele. I think you noticed that also, and it was just great to see all those families there and having a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner. I want to thank staff for a great job. I want to thank the community center staff for the kids helping out. They had a great time helping out. I had a good time helping out. I was covered in chocolate cake before I left, but that was okay. I had a good time passing desserts out, and I didn't eat too much while I was standing there. So kudos to you guys for a great Thanksgiving event down there. The Arts Advisory Committee met, and we are in the process of doing a strategic plan. We're still working on that, and hopefully we'll get it finished hopefully before next meeting, right, Phil? So we are trying to do the best we can to come up with a really good advisory plan so we can give it to the city council coming up probably the first of the year. And that's it for me. So we're going to move on now. We have some awards tonight, and we're going to give out. And we are recognizing two people for the Character Counts recognition tonight. And there are Josh Nowick. Is he here tonight? Josh, hi. And Elizabeth, is she here tonight? Okay, well, she might be a little late. Josh, would you come down? We want to honor you. And while he's coming up, let me give you some information about Josh. While he was nominated, Josh was nominated by Les Luxmore for the various ways he makes a positive impacts on students' lives. Josh began the student community organization Strive, where students interact with the elementary level students to model good character and demonstrate how to interact effectively. Josh is a trainer and a family group facilitator in the Safe School Ambassador Program, which trains students to be ambassadors in their friendship groups to address mistreatment of any kind that is happening on the school campus. Josh also plans, coordinates, and conducts parent academy evenings and inform and support parents as they struggle to be their best during the tumultuous years of their teens. God, do I know that. Josh is making a positive difference in the lives of teens and their parents every day, and we are happy to recognize him tonight. At this time, Josh, come up to the podium and to the dais, and we'll take a photograph of you and give you your certificate. Janine is Chris. Elizabeth's not here, so I guess we'll wait till later, maybe. If she shows up, we'll do it later on. All right. We have a group of people standing out here with uniforms on. And I'm sure they're anxiously awaiting their awards.
You can tell by the knees,
Yeah.
twiddling their knees.
So here's how we're going to work this, guys. You're going to come up the stairs over here. Come around. Then you're going to stand behind me, okay, in a nice line. All right. So what I want to do right now, I want to see Major 1 Division team. Come up right now and stand behind me. And you guys, up.
Steelers.
Steelers Major 1. And let me tell you this, the City of Santa Clarita Youth Program, Sports Programs conducts a pro-season flag football tournament, allowing all Major 1 and Major 2 division teams the opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl championship. Tonight, we're honored to recognize those winning teams. The City of Santa Clarita Major 1 Division Steelers and the Santa Clarita Major 2 Chargers. So let's start with the Steelers. We are happy to recognize City of Santa Clarita Major 1 Division Steelers coach Mike Catalano. Mike, are you here? Please come up and join us. And assistant coach Gary Fortner. And let me introduce you to their team. The first gentleman is Jason Akuri. Where's Jason? Raise your hand. Raise your hand so we get you a certificate back there. Vince Aguilar. Garrison Otnoni. Okay. Jeremy Berry. Julian Berry. Name sounds familiar. Christopher Catalano. Nolan DeZaro. Justin Fortner. Lucas Jedner. Everett Swingal.
Don't go yet, we want to take a picture.
Photo op.
room here?
Have to bunch them up a little.
Bunch up a little bit. Chris.
You can stand behind us.
All the guys behind.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Wait a minute. All the commissioners on this side. Okay. Got you. Okay, 1, 2. Hey, I'm gonna do one more, hold on. You guys have your turn, go ahead.
All right, we have another group of young men that we want to honor tonight. And this is the Major 2 Division Chargers. Where are you guys? Come on down. While they're coming down, let me read you this. We are happy to be able to recognize the City of Santa Clarita's Major 2 Division Chargers with Coach Gil Tubin. Coach, are you here? Come on down, Coach. And assistant coach Scott Norton. You got 4 coaches?
Co-coaches.
Co-coaches, okay, not assistant, okay. Remember that for next time. Co-coaches, not assistants. Okay. All right. So here they are. You ready? All right. First one is Jacob Tobin. Vincent Martucci. Henry Nguyen. Austin Philip Zimmerman. Looks like Nick Swear. Drew Morrison. Eric Pop. He's not here? Okay. I'll get to the coach. Daniel Shapiro, are you here? Matthew Patchard. Carson Gibson. I'm going to have trouble with this one. Jacob Wachowski. And Luis Suarez.
Hands up front. Scooch down here.
You need to get a little bit tight. Still see you. I can see you. Okay, ready? You're perfect. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
That lady show up? Janine? Okay, there are no presentations to the commission. And do we have public participation tonight? Okay.
Crowd.
Yeah, I'm just
I was
kind
just
of,
gonna say, now it's starting to look normal.
yeah. Trying to wait till everybody clears out.
Yeah, I thought I was in the wrong room. I thought it was a different meeting. Headed up the thing. and
Mark
I'm thinking-
Kolodziejczyk,
And
okay.
so when you waved at me, I thought, oh, God, thank God you didn't say it.
Okay, we'll have agenda item number 1, which is the only item tonight, and presenting that item is going to be Phil Lantis. Welcome, Phil.
Good evening, Chair Red and Commissioners. I'm Phil Lantis, the Arts and Events Administrator for the City of Santa Clarita, and it's my great pleasure to come to you tonight to give a very brief overview of the Concerts in the Park series. Just to give a little history on the event, it started in 1990, and I personally have had the honor of participating in the event in some way since 1993. Even in the 2 years where I was not a city employee, I came back and worked some of the concerts because they're just that much fun. Basically, until 2002, we held the concerts at a variety of parks around this community. They grew to the extent where in 2003, we moved them to 2 locations, Newhall Park and the then just recently created Central Park. And then in 2003, we moved the entire series to Central Park. We actually also made a change at that time to Saturday nights at 7 from Sunday evenings at 5:30. And that was mainly driven by the fact that there was not a lot of shade trees. They're getting bigger and more beautiful every year, but at the time they were very small, and the feeling was 5:30 in the middle of the summer was still too warm. They've been very, very successful, and since that time they've grown exponentially. And in fact, in 2004, we made a shift in how we booked the concerts, moving from a real eclectic program to tribute bands, and that also caused a tremendous growth in attendance. Last year at the concerts, we held 8 concerts. Traditionally, there are 8 concerts. They used to be a little longer back in the very early days, but for the last about 15, 16 years, they've been 8 concerts. We had an approximate attendance at all 8 concerts of 40,000. Some concerts had less, and some concerts had quite a few more. That's a pretty good number. It's not a huge growth from the previous year, 2007, but the last time we had the Olympics during the concert series, we saw a significant decrease. So the fact that we had growth at all is really phenomenal, with most of August being taken up with the Beijing Games. This year, we also re-implemented the eclectic band approach. There were several reasons for this. First of all, the concerts were run by Mike Fleming this year, and he is a musical performer, as you may know, primarily in the cowboy genre, but he had a real interest in highlighting some really great bands that didn't necessarily fit into that tribute band category. And also, having done several years of the tribute bands, we felt it was time to kind of stir it up and kind of give a new approach. So we continued with some tribute bands. We actually had 3 tribute bands this last summer, but the rest of it was an eclectic mix of rock and jazz and a little bit of everything. Food was provided exclusively by Lamppost Pizza this last year. They are the contracted concessionaire, I have trouble with that word, concessionaire at Central Park. They do not have exclusivity, but we wanted to work with them, and he's a great partner, and he actually was able to bring out 2 additional carts. So he worked the concession stand and then had 2 carts that were basically doing snacks. And our budget for last year was $110,000. And just to be clear on that, that includes all our logistical costs, all our marketing costs, all the performers' fees, everything associated with the concerts. And I'm very proud of my staff for being able to pull that off. It's a pretty big challenge. To give you an idea, just to rent the stage, the truss, the sound, and the power is about $60,000. So if you subtract that out, everything else is fitting in the $50,000 category. Looking ahead to 2009, we have an interesting situation. We always start our concerts the first Saturday after the 4th of July. Well, in 2009, the 4th of July is a Saturday. So rather than trying to do a concert on the 4th at the same time that we're doing the fireworks show at the Valencia Town Center, we're going to start the Saturday after. So it'll run July 11th through August 29th, which actually means there'll be 3 concerts in July and 5 in August. It happens every once in a while. We're going to continue with the eclectic mix of bands. And just to give you a quick rundown on how we select our bands, we take submittals all year long from any band that's interested. We probably average 10 emails a week from folks. One of the challenges with booking talent is more and more of that is done online, where they have sites at MySpace or Facebook where you can go check out their music. But due to us being a government agency, it's very difficult for us to spend a lot of time on MySpace or Facebook. So it's been an interesting challenge. New technology comes with new challenges. But we still get over, I would say, about 300 to 400 submittals a year, one way or another, either through email or through hard copies. And we have a team of folks that look at those and assess them. We also look at past bands that we've utilized, and what ends up happening is the groups that just aren't appropriate, they're not the right style of music, they're not at that level, they're not good enough, get pared down, and then we do a staff team meeting in arts and events and kind of do a rating process. Ultimately, whoever is in charge of the concerts in the parks, which currently is Mike Fleming, has the ultimate say because it's his head on the line if it doesn't go well. And I should mention also, the concerts are an interesting one. In the last 6 years, 5 different people have been in charge, the lead on the concerts. And this is done for a variety of reasons. First of all, they're kind of the most organized event that we have. They have a system down, so it's one that's easy to pass from one to another. And also, it's just one of those things that's nice to get a fresh perspective. In putting this report together, I realized that we had done a survey where we had teens go around in the 2003 year, to see when we made those changes to Central Park exclusively and Saturday nights at 7, if people were responding well to those. And they generally loved it. We had a few folks that had their issues with that. You know, they wanted them to be closer to where they lived or that sort of thing. But we haven't done a survey since then. So it's my plan to work with Mike and with community services staff to get some volunteers out to talk to the folks while they're waiting for the concerts, to pick their brains on what we're doing right, what we could be doing better, what they want to hear, all that sort of stuff. It's about time to do that again. Over the years, and particularly last year, a few issues came up, and I just want to quickly address those. But one of those is food vendors. There has been some concern that maybe we need to offer more food vendors. We're more than happy to look into that. I will say that in the past, we used to have 6, 7, 8 vendors that would be at the concerts, and it got to the point where so many people were bringing their own food that those vendors were not getting the return on their time and investment to be there, and that it just got to be too many. We found that generally snacks do better than food, and while of course Lamppost offers both pizza, sandwiches, food type items, they also offer snacks and drinks. But we're more than happy to work with Lamppost to bring in additional vendors. Ed, who runs Lamppost, has offered in the past or last year, said, hey, if you need another vendor to come in to bring in something that I'm not able to offer, he's more than willing to work with on us. But we do want to keep that partnership good. He's been a great partner for us, and we want to make sure that we're taking care of him while we're also providing what's needed for the community. Sponsors was a big issue this last year. As you might have heard, there's been some economic troubles. And we unfortunately had the situation where our title sponsor, who had been basically our title sponsor for 5 or 6 years, had to drop out 2 weeks before the concert series began. Unfortunately, it was a local auto dealer, and they were just not in the financial position to be able to pay the $30,000 sponsorship that we had been getting from them. We are actively seeking and working with economic development to locate a replacement title sponsor, and I believe we'll find it, just because the power of the concerts is pretty big in the community, and having that association with the event is a positive thing. We just literally didn't have the time to find a replacement at that point. It also put us in a weird situation with some of our marketing items where we had to very quickly recreate the street pole banners and some of those things to not recognize a sponsor that was no longer a sponsor. So we're working on that. Other vendors, it's come up a few times over the years. Boy, why don't you have a bunch of other vendors here? And there's 2 reasons that we don't do a lot of that. First of all, one of the major perks that a sponsor gets is presence at the events. And if someone was able to be a vendor for a nominal fee or a smaller fee, we feel like it would definitely undercut the ability to bring in sponsors. And secondly, it's a philosophical choice about people are coming out there to have a good time and enjoy their company with their neighbors and talk and socialize, and we don't want it to become a marketplace. We have added over the last few years nonprofit booths. This last year we had 1 or 2 at each concert, and as the interest has grown, I imagine we can have 2 or 3 this year at each concert, and that really is where I would prefer, if we're going to add stuff, to focus the energy to promote our nonprofits that are working so hard, once again particularly struggling sometimes in this economic time. The biggest issue is parking. With the success and the growth of the attendance, parking has become a major ordeal. People are generally, I would say we get maybe 2 or 3 complaints a concert, but we're well aware when the parking lot's filling up 2 hours before the event starts, that we're in a position where people are finding their way but may not be super happy about it. So our intention is to look for a location that's off-site, far enough away that it's not easily walkable, but close enough that a shuttle bus could be able to carry them, or actually 2 shuttle buses would be able to go back and forth between the park and that location. We have not identified that location yet, and one of the issues is there is a cost there, and we don't, in our $110,000 budget, have the budget to pay for those shuttle buses. Unfortunately, with our contract with our transportation provider, because they're federally funded, they aren't able to offer those services for free. We have to pay them. So we're looking into that, and we will be doing a budget request as part of the 2009-2010, wow, that's scary, budget process. But once again, and I hate to harp on this over and over because I'm sure you hear it enough, with these times, I wouldn't be surprised if we were not awarded those funds, and we would have to come up with alternate solutions. Like I say, because the complaint level is not at the 20 to 30 a concert, I think we could get through another year if we had to, and just do the best we can and work with our great partners in parks who've really helped us out over the years by finding ways to squeeze out a little more parking by cheating occasionally and going over a curb or two. The last issue is budget, and I basically touched on that with the request. At this point, we're not requesting any additional funding. Oftentimes I hear, or the staff that's out there hears, boy, it'd be great if you got, the Beach Boys, or if you got this group or that group, and we have some neighbors to our north and east that have concert series that often highlight bands that are slightly bigger names or quite a bit bigger names, and it's all driven by budget. We would love to be able to bring in some of those bigger acts, but it would come with two challenges. It would eat up our budget very, very quickly. And just to give you an idea, the Beach Boys budget generally now is $200,000 for one performance. So, on a $110,000 budget, I can't figure out how to do that. If you know how to do that, let me know, because I think we would all appreciate it. And yeah, you can talk them down a little bit if it's for a charity and all that, but you're still talking 150 to 160. So the other challenge with the budget, I just lost my chain of thought, so I'll move on.
Young people
Oh,
too.
I know. The other challenge with the budget is it increased last year, 2 years ago, by $10,000, but we really haven't had a significant increase since the beginning of the concerts, which is fine. We're able to make it work, but that's why we have to sometimes make choices where we're bringing in up-and-coming bands. Last year we had one of the bands was a group called The Craze. They're a wonderful young group that are definitely up-and-coming, but they're not a name, and it was because we were able to get them for a much, much lower price than any other bands. Great group, wonderful guys. They did a great job, but comparing them to a Queen Nation or some of the other groups that we had, they're not at that level yet. So that's basically what I have for you tonight. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about the concerts. I think this picture says it all. To me, this is what the concerts are all about. It's about community getting together, having a great time. We get so many wonderful responses from the community, sometimes with suggestions of little things or I know a band or whatever, but generally people really love the fact that they know they can go to a place on the Saturday night and have a good family time. And if you haven't been to the concerts, it's kids running around and playing in one field and people sitting on their blankets and talking, and it really is what makes it highlights what I think makes Santa Clarita really special, which is that sense of community. For such a big town that we are, people are still neighbors, and it's a great opportunity to showcase that. And I'm very happy to be a part of it, and we're very happy to continue offering that to our wonderful community.
Thank you, Phil. Very good. Can we have comments from the commission? Starting with Dwayne, Commissioner Hardig.
It's I attended a lot of the concerts back when they were in various other parks and so on, and really enjoyed doing that. All the different venues, but moving it to Central Park, I think, was probably one of the best ideas that you guys had. Certainly with the turnout that I saw, well, especially at the last one with Queen Nation, trying to put it in some of those parks would have been a little questionable. As far as the food vendors are concerned, basically, I think we just wanted to see something available that was a little bit different than pizza. Everybody enjoys pizza. I do too. But, if you have a hot dog or a hamburger or something that you can offer, I didn't realize that as many people, as you were mentioning, brought their sack dinners. but it's kind of like going out for the 4th of July fireworks and bring it along and watch. Other vendors, I absolutely agree with you. You don't want to make a big commercial venue out of it. What you've been doing is very good. Parking. I think that if we can find another venue for parking, it would be great. But with the amount of people that we've had at the concerts, and everybody seems to have found parking. Some get started a little bit earlier than others and get a better spot. And the ones that start out at 6:45 to be there by 7 complain because they didn't get one. Well, that happens. I certainly like to park up close, and I would get a little bit earlier start to do so also. But I'd sure hate to see the budget go over what we've got because of that. I'd rather put it into the entertainment. Speaking of which, we've had some fabulous entertainment, and the one that really surprised me the most this year, there was a band, I think it was Next to Last or Next to Last, one or the other, billed as a jazz and blues band. Typically, I am not a jazz fan. Never have been, never will be. So I was a little apprehensive about going to that concert until I heard those guys. They were incredible, doing the Four Tops and the Temptations and all the rest of the 60s Detroit groups. Absolutely incredible. I think the jazz and blues was definitely a misnomer for that band. So I think we need to get a little bit closer to what they actually do, because that band was fantastic. I'd love to see them come back. But yeah, keep up the good work. Everybody really enjoys it. Maybe one of these days when the budget gets back together, and the 4th of July falls on Saturday, we can make it a multi happening evening. So I look forward to that. Thanks, Phil.
Excellent. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you, Commissioner Hardy.
I think it's absolutely perfect the way you have it, and I wouldn't change a thing. I love it.
I've had several people say to me, "Gee, I'd love to go to those concerts, but I can't walk 6 blocks or 8 blocks or 10 blocks." I think that a shuttle situation is definitely, if you want to grow the event, I think a shuttle situation is really important. My question is, why, you said people can't donate free parking, like the church parking lot or the auto people or whatever? Is that what I heard you say about?
No, the issue is the shuttle buses, to have
the
an
buses
off-site location
themselves.
and the
Oh,
buses
okay,
themselves because of
okay.
the federal funding.
Gotcha.
We used to be able to utilize that church, but now they hold Saturday services, so they're
Mm-hmm.
no longer able to provide their church parking lot. They were a very good partner, but they made a choice
What about the
because
school? Saugus High School's right there.
it's full, and
Is it?
people walk
Is it?
over from there.
Yeah.
On the bigger concerts, always.
Well, and
yeah.
then there's, of course, it's a commercial area, but the shopping center that's just toward
The Rite Aid,
Soledad, yeah.
where the Rite Aid is
Yeah,
located.
where the big Mexican restaurant is.
Officially, people don't park there, but I'm sure people do. And
But I
it's-
wonder if we could, do it like a parking sponsorship where they get some,
Yeah, we could work with them on that.
advertisement for
Yeah.
it, and
That
then-
and the other way, even though the Albertsons is a bit of ways,
Yeah.
yeah, we could work on that.
So, because I think it would bring in a lot of seniors, people that can't, walk that many blocks, and that just don't, and these people don't complain to the city that they can't, they aren't going because they can't, they just know that they won't be able to find a parking space. The vendors, wouldn't hurt to have something healthy, salads maybe, or wraps, or, something like, other than pizza, I agree with that. And the event is spectacularly wonderful. I went to 2 of them, and they were so great, and you're right, it's what makes Santa Clarita so special. All those families, everybody having a good time. I love the dancing, the kids dancing, the moms dancing with each other, the fathers, it was just so much fun. Everybody had such a good time. And again, staff just blows me away with how organized and how beautifully they do everything. I just love you guys. Absolutely. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Harlan?
Phil, great event. I've been on all the sides, getting there early after I learned, getting there late when I was late, and maybe putting my tires over one of those curbs once in a while. So I've been the parking is the only issue. Part of it does add to it, because sometimes when you're driving up, you see hordes of people walking down the boulevard, families walking down the boulevards, and it's just a great sight to see everybody going there. And I remember when my kids were younger, when it got dark, losing them, and that was one of my concerns. And then they just showed back up at the end of the show at home. So it's just a great event. The parking's the only issue. If it was going to grow, that would have to be something that would be addressed. But right now it's just one of those things. If you're going, you get there early, like Dwayne said. You plan ahead and get there early. So otherwise, it's a great event.
Commissioner Levinson?
I just remembered one more thing, vendor. Now that the city has an online store, we could at least have a city vendor and sell stuff, paraphernalia from the city. And we should have a Santa Clarita hat. I mean, I love the one I got from the Arts Festival. I wear it all the time and everybody loves it. But I think we could sell a ton of merchandise probably. And that,
Shuttle bus.
wouldn't be a lot of vendors. Just the most important one.
Thank you. Any further comments? Okay. Yeah, you took my thunder, Commissioner Leverson.
Sorry about that, boss.
I was going to also suggest that the city bring the city shop down and sell those items, and might need to add some things to the shop, like T-shirts or something like that, because I don't think I saw too many T-shirts in the shop. I think that would be great to have T-shirts and caps and stuff, and just so people can show the pride in the community. And I think you find those things popping up all over the community if we have them out there. I understand the cost of the shuttle. You guys are really good about thinking out of the box. Phil, I know you do. Maybe we can come up with something to somehow finance or get volunteers or some kind of company to donate to, for some kind of shuttle service. Or work with some companies that have existing vans or nonprofits that have vans that they can let the city borrow.
Valet services, perhaps, for sponsorship.
Yeah, like I said,
the big stretch vehicles.
You guys are very good about thinking out of the box. I'm sure that we can probably work out something for that to happen. Because we have those people. This is one of the premier events to me for this city. And people love. I mean, I just walk around out there and I see people just having a great time. And it's, to me, it says, this is Santa Clarita. This is what it's all about. And that's why I would like to see more venues as for foods. And I understand that people like to bring their own stuff to picnic. But if we concentrate on some things where it's kind of inconvenient for people to make and bring out there, like smoothies or some kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally want to cart with you to some place, but something we can have there, to provide for the public. So just looking at it from that direction. Again, you guys do a great job out there. I love going out there. I love the bands. I love whatever system you guys use to pick the bands. You guys do a good job. Always good bands there. I'm not a great fan of country and western, but for some reason I can go out and listen to country and western around that. Yeah. Well, you said you didn't like jazz, so okay.
I like it all.
Okay.
Anyway,
go ahead.
Be sure and have the chorale, not the chorale, the classical.
The symphony?
Yeah, the symphony. Yeah, that was fabulous. Didn't get as much participation, I understand, because of what it is, but we folks need to be fed too,
Yeah, and like I said, a good job, Phil. Your staff, you guys, the volunteers. I forget to mention the volunteers, but they're so great out there. They do a good job. So, all right, thank you. Thanks for your presentation, Phil. Did a good work. I know you will. Going to move on to I guess it would be park project status report.
Good evening, Chair Red, members of the commission, Wayne Weber, Park Superintendent. Certainly you have the report in front of you, and staff would be available to answer any questions you might have about the projects listed or anything else that's going on in our department.
Okay, no comments from commission?
You do such a good job. We just never have any questions or concerns.
Thank you.
Is the sports complex running on time?
Absolutely. In fact, the contractor was a week or so ahead of schedule. This was probably a month ago. But of course, with the rain that we had, we've lost a few days there. But our schedule for delivering the first phase, which is the skate park phase of mid-February, remains the same at this time.
Okay. Staff comments.
Good evening. Just a few comments for you tonight. Tomorrow night in downtown New Hall, or Old Town New Hall, begins a series of events that have been mentioned by a few of you. Paint the Town is an event that begins at 3 o'clock, which is an effort to paint the store windows in Old Town New Hall with holiday art, I guess you would say, followed by an arrival approximately 7 o'clock to 7:15 of the toy train from the Sheriff's Department, where you have the opportunity to take some stuff and load it on the train for kids across LA County, which will be followed the following morning by the Children's Parade in Old Town New Hall, beginning essentially at Lyons and Main Street and proceeding to Hart Park, followed by the Snow Festival provided by the Historical Society, and more importantly, our new partnership with the Arts and Literacy Festival. That is a joint effort on the part of the Historical Society, the County Parks and Recreation Department, as well as the city. So it should be a good day in Old Town New Hall on Saturday morning. Not too far after that, the Community Center's holiday party is Friday, December 19th at 5 in the afternoon, and I know the folks at the Community Center would love to have you down there. If you haven't had the opportunity, we recently appointed a new Community Center supervisor. Her name is Julie Calderon. She comes to us from the Antelope Valley area, where she was a director of a large child care organization up in that way, and we're thrilled with her. Her energy is frankly infectious, and I think she's going to do great things not only at the center, but in her relationships with Old Town New Hall. And if you get an opportunity to pop in, say hi to Julie. I think she'll surprise you. And one final, well, I have one business item, but while I'm talking about staff, I think many of you probably saw the email today, but Toy had to give up her interim title. She's now been appointed the new recreation superintendent for the department, and I'm thrilled to welcome her, and I know everybody else is too. So. If you didn't get a chance to see the email, I want you to know it was an open, competitive recruitment process. We used a professional search firm who advertised throughout the state of California, and it's a testament to Toy's abilities and her mettle, I guess you might say, through the interview process that she came out on top. And for me, as part of making that selection, it was very clear that this was the choice to be made. So.
Can I comment on that, Rick?
Absolutely.
I want to tell Toy, I know when you first got here, you hit the ground running, and I noticed that, and I noticed that you've been very good, and you've been working with commission really, really well, and I just want to tell you that I'm very, very excited that you're here and working with us on a permanent basis. And good job. Thank you. I think it's a good choice, Rick. Thank you.
Finally, the last item of business, and it's hard to think about it right now, but in about 3 months, the California Parks and Recreation Society's annual conference comes up. It's in Santa Clara this year, not Santa Clarita, but Santa Clara, which, by the way, Santa Clara's begun to notice us. They go, so you're the guys who we always get confused with now. So. The annual conference is in Santa Clara. It begins the week of March 3rd. It's a Tuesday, and concludes essentially on Friday night the 7th of March. It is a great opportunity to immerse yourself in all things Parks and Recreation. Commissioners have attended to the conference from time to time over the years, sometimes 1, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, sometimes none. It's really up to you. I believe you will get in the mail, if you have not already, a brochure that describes some of the conference offerings, and I'd encourage you to take a look at that and see if you have an interest. Budgetarily, we can't send everybody on the commission. We don't have enough funding to do that. We typically, several years ago we did, and it was one of those things, travel and training's the first to go. So we have the ability to send a couple of you, or sort of mix and match. If one wanted to go for 1 day and one wanted to go for 2, and we can figure it out. So it's a little more difficult in Northern California than Southern California, but it is an opportunity. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. It is a fabulous exposure to the Parks and Recreation world. Typically, the staff does go. Adele, Toy, Wayne, myself typically go to the conference. It will be tough in economic times like we have right now to send significant numbers of staff for long periods of time, but we would be there and obviously be available to show you the ropes, if you will, if you haven't been to that conference before. The real reason for me mentioning it now is we need to know sooner than later. There's an early bird registration deadline in early January. That will save us significant money, and we would prefer to make those registrations ahead of time and save money if you have any interest in going. So,
Go ahead, Commissioner Lemerson.
Where is Santa Clara exactly?
basically the next city north from San Jose.
Oh, okay.
It's Bay Area.
Thanks.
South
I
Bay.
knew it was north up there, but I wasn't sure exact. Thank you. Okay.
When is the registration? Early bird registration, when?
I believe it's the 9th of January. So, we could, I could re-mention this again at our January commission meeting, and, you can let me know, or if you just want to send me an email and let me know that you have some interest in it. Arlene, has everybody received the pre-conference brochure? I know I received mine. Okay, I think it may be in your mail now, so you can take a look at it. And it lists all the sessions and the keynotes and all the after-hours entertainment as well, so.
Do we have an award this year? Are we going to be getting?
We have submitted 3 awards this year, including Longshore Park, a website, and
VIP.
And VIP. We probably won't hear the results of those nominations for about another week and a half.
Does any of the commissioners know right now if they'll be able to go? Have to wait until you guys check your calendars or what? Holiday, gonna wait?
Find out how far it is from Novato, because that's where my son is buying a house, and I wouldn't have to stay in a hotel or anything.
It's not a day. It's not a day trip. Novato is
Further than
probably
that.
60 miles across probably the worst
Yeah.
roads
forget
in
it.
Northern California. Not in quality in terms of traffic.
Well-
They make LA roads look uncrowded.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So what I understand is that we have an interest on the commission to go, but we just don't know if our calendar is going to fit it, right? So we need to find out. So when do you think you need a day by?
Well, if you can spend, some time taking a look at this and figuring out if you had some interest, you can either email me. We have somebody who coordinates all of the different divisions in the department, trying to figure out what we can send and looking at our budget and stuff like that. So if you want to send me an email or Arlene an email and say, I'd like to go on a Friday, or I'd like to go, Thursday, Friday, or Wednesday, Thursday, we'll let us see what we can figure out and what we can make happen. Right now, the Southwest airline flights are relatively inexpensive too. Unfortunately, the San Jose airport is a very short cab ride from the convention center. So,
Unfortunately or fortunately?
Fortunately.
Fortunately.
it is next door to the San Francisco 49er headquarters too. So, if you get the right hotel room, you can watch them practice.
Okay, so we'll get that information to you as soon as we all check our calendars, and we'll go from there. Is that it, Rick? That's all?
Good.
Okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It was second. This meeting is adjourned.
Hey, Mike, give me another one.
The cost of one more drink, $4.50. The cost of a DUI, severe fines and loss of freedom, causing innocent loss of life, unimaginable. The value of acting responsibly,
On second thought, why don't you call me a cab?
priceless. Drinking and driving are not worth the cost. Call a friend or taxi to get home safely.
Pregnant? Scared? Alone? Sometimes knowing where to go for help is half the battle. You want straight, honest answers you can trust. At the SCV Pregnancy Center, you'll receive the personal care and support you need to make informed decisions at this important time in your life. The choice is yours. Choose to know. All services are free.
Did you know the first gold in California was discovered right here in the Santa Clarita Valley, long before Sutter's Mill? Did you know our valley was the birthplace of the California oil industry? Did you know that when Los Angeles joined the rest of the country by rail, the tracks came together in Santa Clarita? You might know we're a popular location for filming, but did you know we always have been? Learn all about Santa Clarita's fascinating history at scvhistory.com or visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.